It's Social Pulse Weekly, brought to you by Agora Pulse.
With this week's special guest, the 360 Marketing Squad with Jen Herman, Stephanie Lou, Amanda Robinson, and myself, Mike Alton.
Discussing this week's hottest topics and latest developments in social media marketing. With your host, Jennifer Watson. Here's Social Pulse Weekly.
Hey everyone, happy Friday, and thank you for joining us for an extra special episode of Social Pulse Weekly. First of all, for those of us that are new to Agora Pulse, this is your all-in-one live social media show. We go live every week, Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern. We bring you the latest social media news, have an expert interview, and have some giveaways and some trivia. And today is going to be extra special. It's our 1-year anniversary, and we have the 360 Marketing Squad on the show for their new book release. It's going to be amazing. We're literally going to jumpstart your social media and marketing strategy in the next 60 minutes. So seriously, get your notebooks ready. And along with that, we have some extra special giveaways as well that you don't want to miss. So for those of you joining us, let us know who you are, where you're watching us from, and something you're excited to conquer and accomplish for the month of September. With that said, I want to introduce our amazing guests because they're absolutely incredible. And they released their new book last week. It's topped the charts on Amazon. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't purchased it yet, you definitely need to. But this is the 360 Marketing Squad. They are a unique partnership between 4 talented and experienced marketers. We have the amazing Jen Herman, incredible Stephanie Lou, the talented Amanda Robinson, and of course, the famous Mike Alton. Together, they are able to provide deep insights and strategic direction to businesses on every aspect of social media marketing. They have a private mastermind group in which they offer live training sessions, support, and dedicated resources. And they have recently co-authored The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing, published by Entrepreneur Press and available wherever books are sold. So with that said, welcome everyone to the show. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi. I'm remembering to unmute my mic because I was told to mute it because I was laughing too much before we started. In typical 360 fashion. Yeah.
If you guys want to see what it was like before the show, just follow me on Instagram, Jennifer Weather. Look at my Instagram stories and you will see all the fun. Yeah. Just go to Jennifer Weather. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, welcome to the show, guys. And I would love to do just a quick round robin introduction because all of you guys, we've got Steve in the house. Hey, how's it going? We've got Carrie Ray, Julie Riley, Rebecca Ward made it from the UK. Rebecca, I'm so glad you're here. Again, guys, let us know who you are and where you're watching us from and something that you're looking forward to accomplishing. We've got someone from Columbus, Ohio. Hey guys, how's it going? And remember, before you comment, make sure to give StreamYard permission to comment or give them access to you so we can actually see your name. We've got Troy Sandage in the house as well. We've got an amazing crew. So let's start quickly because we only have an hour and we're going to get through a lot of stuff. I'm super excited. So I know time is of the essence. So Stephanie Lou, I would love to start with you. Can you just give a brief introduction of who you are and all the awesome things that you do?
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. I am Stephanie Lou, and I'm a live video strategist. I help brands and entrepreneurs go from unknown to unforgettable with live video, and I have a 5-year-old.
That Stephanie is awesome and it's amazing. And I have an adorable 3-year-old too that she isn't with me right now, but she's been a part of many live shows. Now let's head to Jen Herman. Jen, give us just a little insight into how amazing you are.
I want Jen as my hype girl all the time. I am Jen Herman. I am known for Instagram. I'm the world's forefront blogger on Instagram marketing, but I work with clients of all sizes to help them build a social media strategy.
Fantastic. Amanda Robinson, she's badass with ads, chatbots, all the amazing things. Amanda, tell us about yourself.
I am Amanda Robinson. I am the digital gal, and I teach and speak on everything Facebook ads related. I run my Swift Kick in the Ads membership and my 4-week Facebook ads boot camp, which is kicking off again next week. So everything ads related.
Woo, awesome. And we've got a quick question. What tool are you using? We're currently going live on StreamYard. StreamYard's amazing. If you're looking for a great tool, use it. Now let's get to Mike Alton. Mike, give us just a little introduction to yourself, because you're a blogging expert, influencer, all of that.
Yeah, I'm Mike Alton. I happen to be Jennifer's boss, so she has to say nice things about me. I'm the brand evangelist here at AgoraPulse, and super privileged to be able to work with these wonderful ladies on our private mastermind group and on this book. It's been a wonderful project, so really excited to be here.
Yay. Oh my gosh. So guys, this is amazing. I'm going to be asking them a whole bunch of questions, but along with that, we have some trivia at the end of the show. Now we're going to be giving away to one lucky person a copy of their book, an AgoraPulse backpack, a notebook, and a mug or t-shirt, whichever one you want. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. So you're going to learn so much in the next 60 minutes, and one lucky person is going to get all that awesomeness. So let's get started. First of all, how did you start the 360 Marketing Squad, and what motivated you to write the book?
We're going to give that one to Mike. We're going to give that one to Mike.
Mike?
Okay, real quick summary. Several years ago, I was talking with Stephanie, and we started talking to Jen about the idea of just the three of us creating just a personal mastermind group. We had shared interests, obviously, in marketing. We also had shared interests in parenting very young daughters. And so we came together as just a personal mastermind group. And we started talking about this idea of having a professional group, because we each wanted to have our own personal paid membership community, but we didn't have the time to invest in it. We thought, well, what if we shared the load, right? And each one of us were to go live on a regular basis, but we wouldn't have to individually go live all the time and provide all the training and support ourselves. And we thought, okay, we need a fourth person. We need this lady to come in and be able to handle ads and chatbots that the rest of us do not understand. And so we brought her in, and we created the 360 Marketing Squad as a group, a community where people could learn about marketing, and we could train them, but we wouldn't have to do it all ourselves. So that's how the community started. And then thanks to this lady right here, Jen, having been involved with our co-author, Eric Butow, on previous books, we got invited to partake in this project with Entrepreneur Press to create the ultimate guide to social media marketing.
And you guys, it's an incredible book. If you haven't purchased it already, you need to. And the funny thing is, I was going to make sure I had it here for the show. It's over there on my couch when I was reading it earlier. So I need to like run over there and get it and then bring it back. But I know they all have copies to show you as well.
Okay.
A special extra shout out to Eric, though. Eric Butow. He is our show sponsor. He's amazing. He's going to help answer questions in the comments as well. He's an incredible author of several books. So, Eric, thank you so much for being here. And let's get right to it, because, you know, we're nearing the end of 2020, which I can't believe. We're about to kick off 2021. And, you know, I know everyone is just ready to dominate their social media and marketing strategy. So can you, first of all, Jen, tell us about the SWOT? I think that's maybe how you pronounce it. Social media strategy, and what you should do when you're mapping that out and maximizing your potential.
Yeah, so doing a SWOT is really common with marketing, with business, and it's for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you want to go through before you start building your strategy and understand those things. So strengths might be that you're a really good writer, so you would be good for blogging, or maybe you really are good at video editing. Things like that are some of your strengths, and may also be related now to your product or your service. What is the value and the benefit, the strength of what it is you offer? Your weaknesses might be something like, you know, everybody on your team is afraid of being on camera. That could be a weakness. So what are some things that would be challenges that would be something you have to work on? Opportunities are things that you can use to your benefit, that you can take advantage of. So opportunities might be that you have some friends who have large followings on social media that could be considered influencers. Or maybe you know somebody who runs a podcast and you'd be able to be a guest on their podcast. Threats are going to be things that could impede your progress. It could be that your competitors have been using social media for the last 6 years aggressively, and you're just catching up now. So you kind of want to go through and look at what those various criteria are, and then you're going to start to build out your strategy, which has to focus on an end goal that you can measure. So it might be that you are focused on brand awareness. It might be that you are focused on sales and revenue generation. And you want to put these into long-term and short-term goals and something tangible that you can measure. So we want to increase sales by 22%. We want, to reach X number of, new followers or website visits or whatever that is, so that you can start to manage and track that over time. Now that you know what the goal is, you can start to break down how your social media strategy is going to achieve that. So what platforms are you going to use? How often are you going to post? Who's going to be in charge of managing that content, that execution, creating it, interacting with people online? You can start to bring all those pieces together. That was a really short answer.
No, I love it. It was perfect. And so, guys, this is a page out of their book. This is page 45. And this isn't just a book. This is a workbook where you can fill in the answers as you read, as you go. So by the end of you reading it, you're going to have your whole strategy mapped out. That's how awesome this book is. And yes, while Jen was talking, I ran to my family room and I grabbed it. So yes, I'm glad that you answered that a little long, Jen. That was absolutely perfect. And so Stephanie Lou, I want to get to you. You are incredible at creating images that pop, thumb-stopping images. We all know there's tons of content out there, but we want people to actually see it. We want to create an image so powerful or a video that actually stops the scroll. What tools do you have to help people, and what tips and tricks to make that happen, to create images that people will actually stop and look at and read?
I love that question. As far as tips and tricks go, I'm so in love with human behavior. And I know that anything that is going to be a pattern interrupt, anything that evokes emotions, things that get you excited, things that make you laugh, things that make your heart go, "Aw," right? That is shareable content. And that's my biggest tip for you, is creating content that actually gets people to stop, look, and listen to what you have to say. Now, as far as tools go, even before the show, Mike and I were geeking out over Descript and easel and headliner of like repurposing all this different content. Get out there and experiment. A lot of times when I'm sitting down with clients, they just want to give me a white background. And I'm like, okay, great. Every social media platform has a white background. Where are you actually going to stand out? And so think about that. Think about when you're creating the content, is it evoking any emotions? And how does it stand out in the newsfeed from that perspective?
And that's perfect. And those are great tips. And if you guys have questions, if anyone has questions just about social media marketing in general, let us know, live video, any of that, because this is your opportunity to ask the experts. So definitely do it. Don't be shy. Let's get to you, Amanda Robinson. So you're the queen of ads. You're just one of the smartest people I know when it comes to Facebook ads and just ads in general. And I would love to know what kind of tools and tips you can share if you want to run ads for audience growth or for conversions.
This is a fabulous question. I'm glad you're asking, because they're two totally different things. Running ads for audience growth is different than running ads for conversion. So the way that I like to position it is that you need to first grow your audience and grow momentum. I love using the word momentum because that's what it is. As soon as you stop and take your hands off the wheel and stop spending on ads and stop everything, your audience sizes start to dwindle and everything just starts to slowly go back down again. Then when you want to start it back up again, it costs you that much more money. So you need to build momentum. You start that momentum with building audiences. How do you build those audiences and momentum within them? You run campaigns for things such as engagement, which is for likes, clicks, comments, and shares, or for video views. Those are on the more cheap and cheerful side of ad campaigns. They don't cost as much, but they earn you interactions with your audience that you can then retarget and remarket to them at a later date. So that's helping you grow your audience sizes of people that are in your, what I call your digital footprint or your sphere of influence. And then that becomes your warm audience. And once you've grown your warm audience to a size where it's a large enough size to put some ad dollars behind to get them to take additional action, such as a conversion. And a conversion is whatever you define it as, when people are signing up for a webinar, or they're making a purchase on your website, or they're viewing a specific piece of content on your website. You can tell Facebook what those conversions are, but then you're going to run ads and optimize for conversions to this audience that you've already grown. And so if you're not putting the effort into fostering these audiences and growing these audiences with high compelling scroll stopping images and things that are very engaging and that appeal to them, then it's going to cost you more money in the long run. And we don't want that to happen. It can happen in some cases. I know for e-commerce, e-commerce, you can target a very cold audience of people with a product and make some sales. That's great, but it doesn't work for all of us, and it doesn't work for most small businesses, especially brick and mortar shops or physical shops. So that's where you need to attract your audiences, build those audiences, run some campaigns for engagement and video views, expand that audience size, and then at a later date, retarget those people with ads for conversions to get them to take the action that you ultimately desire and want them to do. And it builds a long-term strategy that is repeatable and can continue to grow rather than the yo-yo of ads are on, ads are off, ads are on, ads are off. There you go.
I feel like you just gave everyone an ad strategy within like 2 minutes, Amanda. That was incredible. That was awesome. And I feel like I'm going to rewatch this and write that down because that was fantastic. And we've got Anthony, who is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, create content that gets people to stop, look, and listen. Use pattern interrupts. Holler to my NLP buddy, Stephanie Liu. I'm so glad you're in the house, Anthony. And if you guys have questions, please ask them because we're going fast, but we want to make sure we answer your questions. Now, let's go to Mike Alton and let's talk about influencer marketing just a little bit. A lot of people think they know what influencer marketing is, but Mike, really, what is it?
Well, it is kind of confusing because some people think influencer marketing is I'm going to pay a celebrity top dollar to rep my brand. And that is influencer marketing, but it's so much more and so much more nuanced than that because really we're all influencers. When my neighbor asks me who I use to build my deck and I share with him that information, I'm influencing him. I'm giving him my opinion, which is really all influencer marketing boils down to, which means any business can leverage influencer marketing, even if you're just a small local business. In fact, for the small local business, influencer marketing might be even more powerful for you because if I see an ad with a major celebrity using this mug, I don't know that they would actually use that mug if they weren't paid to do that. But if it's somebody that I already know, and they're talking to me about something that they've literally done and they're not being paid to do that, it's coming off as very authentic and organic, it's going to be super effective. So I would encourage all businesses to think about who they could reach out to and who they could work with and partner with and actually use influencer marketing for their brand and their business.
I love that. And I think people think, like you said, that it has to be a celebrity. No, micro influencers are even more powerful sometimes than a celebrity because they know the town you live in, the city, the culture, and what people will really, run to or want to see in different social profiles and stuff. So that is awesome, Mike. Thank you so much. So Jen, I want to get back to you. And let's talk about, planning out your strategy. I think that's one of the biggest things is what are the best ways to identify your goals and how to measure success?
So yeah, and I love like data and pulling it all together and knowing what works. So I love that kind of part of the strategy. So we talked, really quickly before about like setting those goals. So you need to determine what those goals are, and then you're going to set those milestones. So you're going to say at the end of 2021, at the end of Q2, whatever it is, you're going to have goals you want to have achieved. You want to set those goals as both realistic and a little bit challenging, right? We're not going to be like, oh, we want to increase sales by 2%. And so then all of a sudden you shatter your goal and easily hit 10%. We still want to stretch ourselves. We want to push ourselves to a goal that is both realistic and challenging. If you've literally never sold your product on the market, you're not going to come up and be like, well, we want to do $1 million in sales by next month. Like that's unrealistic. So you want to find those realistic challenges that you can set for your goals. And then you're going to start to figure out how you're going to achieve that. So are you going to use, what social media platforms are you going to use and how are you going to drive traffic from those? So, on LinkedIn, are you going to be doing LinkedIn Live if you have access to that? Are you going to be doing things in groups? On Facebook, or do you have a group that you're going to be using? Do you have your page? Are you going to be relying on influencer marketing? If you're using Instagram, are you going to be using live video? Are you going to be using stories or reels? What are you going to be using? And then knowing that, you can figure out how your calls to action tie into those. So your call to action, on one platform may be click on this link. Your call to action on another platform may be, go watch this video. It's going to be different things depending on the platforms and the type of things. But all of that content that you're creating, whether it's engagement, whether it's asking questions, whether it's, just kind of polling your audience, whether it's providing resources, education, maybe you're providing entertainment value, maybe you're sharing, quotes and inspiration, you're sharing behind the scenes, you're sharing all this variety of content with the effort of achieving that end goal. So not every post becomes buy the product, hire me, buy the product. It's you're sharing a resource or a piece of information that augments, the value to your audience, that they go, oh, that was really helpful. I want to share that. That's going to help with brand awareness. If they like it, they bookmark it, or they leave a comment, that's positive engagement. That keeps your engagement up. That keeps your reach higher. That means that when you put that call to action out there, more people will see it and be able to act on it. So it has to be this combination of all these different pieces of content based on what you want to do, based on your SWOT, whether you're doing things like written content, videos, and that sort of thing. Putting it all together into the different types of posts on all the different platforms, with everything ultimately serving that end goal that you've set for your aspirations for the year or quarter or that sort of thing.
And I feel like everyone's giving amazing, concise answers, because Jen, that is so true. And if you were not sure about how you should map out your plan for success and your goals, basically Jen just did that in 3 minutes. So you can go back and rewatch that and write that down if you need help. And we do have a question. And Rebecca, I love that. And Jen, while we're still on you, let's, and anybody can answer this, but it's about Instagram guides. And Rebecca Ward has a question about their new feature, basically how to use it. Should you use it? Those kinds of things.
If you get them, use them. So Instagram has announced guides, which are going to be like a resource category that you can put on your profile, and you can put your content and or other people's content into that guide. So you could share posts into there. So let's say, for example, obviously I teach a lot and share a lot about, Instagram updates. I could have a guide just for Instagram updates. So all the content I'm sharing on Instagram stays there, but there would be a guide exclusively for Instagram updates or exclusively for Instagram stories updates. And so if someone wanted that information, they would go to that guide and they would get all those resources compiled from my own content as well as other people's content, all in one convenient location. This was rolled out originally at kind of around the beginning of the COVID phase, and it was focused on the wellness industry. So things like, here are, healthy workouts you can do at home. Here are healthy things you can cook. All these sorts of things that were put into these guides to allow people to find a singular place within your profile for a specific type of resource. It has rolled out in that sense, meaning that people have access to it, but not everybody does. They have said it's going to be coming to more profiles soon, which leaves us with a very vague, it'll launch one day and we'll all be like, oh, look at this thing we have. So we don't know when we're going to get it, but if you get your hands on it, if you get access to it, by all means, start finding a way to incorporate that into your Instagram strategy as a means to provide another level of resource and education and value to your audience.
And I love that answer. Carrie said, oh, can't wait to get that Instagram feature guides. Yes. And Rebecca was wondering when it might come to the UK. And just like Jen said, we're just waiting for it. It's all of a sudden going to be announced and happen one day. So, and the time to prepare for that in your strategy is now. So once you get it, you can be one of the first ones to start producing content for it. A big shout out to Brandon Berkmeyer joining us. What's up? Thank you so much for wishing us a happy 1 year. Eugene's in the house as well. Eugene, so great to see you. And if you guys are just popping in and joining us, say hi. Let us know how you're doing. We actually have another question, and this is from Anthony. And this is a great question. This is for Mike, or actually anyone. What are the best ways to start working with influencers when you have a B2B business and are just starting out? Great question.
That is a great question. And I'll go first and then you all can jump in. One of the things that I do, because this is actually exactly what I do. I do B2B influencer marketing for AgoraPulse. And I focus 100% on relationships with individual influencers in my niche. So I started with a bit of a benefit and a running start because I'd been in this industry before I took on the role. So I knew who the players were, but maybe you don't. So maybe you want to follow the most popular blogs in your industry, Follow the events, whether they're virtual or eventually in-person events. Look at if there are magazines and other publications. Certainly go to the social networks. Twitter in particular is going to be really easy for you to spot who is already talking and reaching a nice number of people in your space, whatever that space and industry might be, and start to develop relationships with them. Follow them, connect with them. Twitter's a good place to start, again, because that follow relationship is one way, right? You can follow me, I don't have to follow you back, or vice versa. Whereas if you come to my Facebook personal profile, I have to accept that connection, which means I kind of have to know you, and I'm probably not going to accept that connection if we've never met or talked before. So look at Twitter, look at Instagram, and start to follow them and start to engage with their content that they're putting out. Start to learn from them, start to leave insightful comments, start to have conversations with them. That's how you're building a relationship. It's not crazy stalking behavior. We want to avoid that. That's not going to be very good for your long-term benefit. But if you can form a relationship, then you can start to look for opportunities to collaborate. Maybe that's, hey, let's create some content together. Hey, I'm doing a roundup post this month about Twitter. Would you like to participate? Here's the question, or whatever that might be, that's related to your industry and your space. I'm doing a summit in November. Maybe you'd like to be a speaker. Those are the kinds of things that you can look at doing, and then eventually take it to the next level where maybe they're actually working for you, with you on campaigns. There's a give and take there. That's how I would proceed with B2B, which isn't all that different from B2C, to be honest.
I love that. And that's a great answer. Anyone else want to chime in? Jen?
Yeah, I was going to say, so for me, and I swear by this method, I'll use a more polite term than what I usually use, but be a podcast guest and reach out to all the podcasts in your industry that, speak, whether it's to that target audience, whether it's to, even a broader audience, but that it serves, the ultimate audience that your product or service is relevant to, and pitch them to be on their podcast. Come in with a good pitch for why you would be a good guest for them to have on. Make it easy on them, be flexible with your time and availability as, for their calendar and scheduling and those sorts of things. But being a guest on somebody's podcast is a great way for exposure to large and broad audiences really easily. You show up, you do an interview just like this, and they're going to put that podcast out to their audience who already knows, likes, and trusts them. And they're going to have an inherent value from you because you're with somebody that they already trust. And the more people that you can, or more podcasts you can go on, the more opportunity you have to expand that reach.
I love that. Megan Powers. Yes, absolutely. Does anybody else, Amanda, Stephanie, you want to chime in?
I just want to say that just hearing both Mike and Jen talk has made me realize that in my business, I do a lot of B2C, but I also have a lot of relationships with other businesses. And just hearing them like, oh yeah, that's what I do with this relationship with this business. Oh yeah, that's what I do with this. It's one of those things that just, because it is relationship marketing or relationship related, it's the things that you naturally do anyway. So if it feels like a natural extension of how you would build those relationships anyway, and it feels like a good fit, not a forced fit, then that's basically what you want to start focusing on and amplifying. So it fascinates me that as they're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing that.
I love that. And because everyone is talking about building relationships, you now have to think about, well, how are you going to build relationships remotely, right? So get creative with that. Let's say if I'm going to have an influencer call with the Jen Herman, I'm going to send over like a Bevmo package and be like, hey, so for our call on Friday, let's have like a little cosmopolitan. And then, let's talk a little bit about biz, but I really want to get to know you. So I think even now, as you're building relationships online from a B2B perspective, get creative. Snail mail is one of those things where we're waiting to see ooh, is there a new Amazon package? And if a gift comes and it's a surprise, ooh, I want to talk about it. It'll be on Instagram.
I love that. Just kind of how you sent Jen Herman and her daughter the dinosaur waffle maker.
I was just going to say.
Because for those of you, and I love this. This is, we're a family show, right? So Jen Herman has the most adorable 5-year-old daughter that loves dinosaurs. And what happened, Jen?
Well, yeah, I all of a sudden get a message actually from Stephanie. She goes, she's like, gift from the Lou household. And I'm like, a gift? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and she's like, did it not deliver? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't been to my door. And they didn't ring the doorbell. So I go out. So Sabrina came down. She was all excited because she's like, what is it? What is it? And it was, so Stephanie had sent us a dinosaur waffle maker. It was super, super fun. And I had to make dinosaur waffles every day for like 5 years. Thanks, Stephanie.
And so who does Jen think of every day as she makes those
person
waffles?
I'm thinking of every time I see that waffle maker, I'm like, Stephanie Lou.
Which is awesome. And I love that. And I want to give a quick shout out to Trisha from the UK. She says, happy Friday, everyone. Trisha, I'm so glad you're here. You guys, as you're popping in, just let us know. And let's say Brandon said, I'd send Amanda something pink for her room, but I think she has it covered. I know, right?
No, there's never enough pink. Please, if you send me something, I will put it into the background. And I've literally,
Careful.
so for those of you who don't know, this literally is a virtual background. This is not my real house. I do not have a giant high heel shoe on my mantle, but I do Photoshop things. So for example, I have, is this not my wine bottle one? No, this is the clean one. So I have different accessories that I will Photoshop into the background depending on what client I'm talking to or what's happening in the current state of whatever. So I have several different versions of this with different accessories. So if you have an accessory you want to send me and it's pink, I will Photoshop it into this background and you will see it going forward.
See, I love that.
Challenge accepted.
If HGTV was like watching, I feel like if HGTV was watching, they'd be like, "Oh, Amanda, since you love to use green screens, let's give you like this model home setup." You know?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I love Scott Ayers, his comment that just came through. Amanda's probably actually in a tent. The number of times I have live streamed from a tent or from a car or from the road or from any type of outdoors adventuring circumstance. Yeah. So the virtual backgrounds have quickly become my absolute best friend.
And that's a perfect segue into, I want to talk about live video with all of you because we all have different, Mike's like, so we all have different backgrounds when it comes to live video. I actually, for those of you who don't know me, are new to me, I am a meteorologist by trade. I worked at the Weather Channel for 5 years. And so I helped launch their Facebook Live strategy. So we did a lot of Facebook Lives, but then Periscope, Meerkat back in the day, YouTube, all that fun stuff. So I have a lot of experience doing live out in the field, live shows, as well as in studio. But everyone here, this amazing crew, we all have different experiences utilizing it and how to be confident on camera. Because I know when I first started out doing live weather and TV, it's a little nerve wracking. But I would love to bring it to Stephanie Lou, who is also amazing at live video. And I would love to hear from you some of your tips for live video, why you should integrate it into your strategy, and how to be confident on camera.
Absolutely. One of the things about live video is that it gets you on the Fascination fast track. It gets you on a first name basis with key decision makers just like that. And so from a content strategy perspective, this is where like I've sat down with Mike and he's like, well, here's your content pyramid and this is what you should write about. And so taking what I learned from him, it's really do your 10 by 10 formula. Write down the top 10 frequently asked questions about your business, your product, your service. Then do the top 10 should ask questions that people should be asking, but they don't know because you're the expert, right? And then do live video for that. That live video can then be repurposed like 94 different ways into a blog post, into an audiogram. And that's really going to help you stay top of mind and tip of tongue. It's just, for me, as a video content creator, if you ask me a question, I could give you something super fast versus if you wanted a blog post, then that would go to Jen and Mike. Always.
This is very true. And does anybody else have any live video tips? Because I know, Amanda, your virtual backgrounds. Anyone else want to chime in on this from the 360 Marketing Squad?
Yeah, I'll chime in. One of the things I always tell my clients when I'm working with them and they're like, I don't want to do video. It can be really imposing to talk to a camera by yourself with nobody in the room and maintain, personality and energy and know what to say. And so I've told people to have somebody sit on the other side of the camera and interview you. They could even just hold up the question and then you're answering the question, but it puts you in a safer space where you feel like you're talking to somebody. You don't feel awkward like they're watching you, but that you're actually having a dialogue with them. And if they're sitting right behind the camera, you're still talking to the camera. And until you get really comfortable with being on camera, everybody sucks the first time on camera. Okay. Everybody does. Like it's not something you just walk out one day and you're like, oh, I'm going to be amazing. And if you are, you'll probably suck the next time. So it takes time and practice, but having somebody there that you trust that can help you in that interview style can keep you relaxed, keep you more comfortable, and make the whole video come off much more authentic to your audience as well.
And I love those tips. And you guys, live video, it doesn't have to be hard, doesn't have to be cumbersome. It doesn't have to be this fancy setup. If you have an iPhone, an Android, you can go live directly from your phone. It's easy. And if you want some tips or you want some practice, make it a point to create some Instagram, Facebook stories every single day. You'll get used to seeing yourself on camera and actually being on camera. And I promise you, it'll be a lot easier when you actually do go live. And we had a great question. And first of all, we got Louisa in the house. Justin Hornback, I'm so glad you're here. Justin, welcome to the show. You're amazing. Marissa said, what's the best streaming tool to use for a beginner? There are a lot of tools to use. We use StreamYard here at Agora Pulse. I've used many others, but I'll have the 360 Marketing Squad chime in.
I'm like, I'm sitting this one out.
Yeah, I would say the best tool for streaming is the one that you're comfortable with. There are tons of options out there, honestly, and it depends on what your needs are. So when you're first starting out, literally just using Facebook's built-in tools, or if you're going live on LinkedIn's, but like use the native platform and get comfortable that way, and then start layering on technology on top of that. The more pieces of technology you add, the more things can go wrong. So from different software. So for example, I use Ecamm Live, and in order to bring guests on, I have to bring guests on using Skype. And sometimes Skype has to be updated. Sometimes Skype has issues, and that can be frustrating. Things like StreamYard are natively built into the browser so that you can bring guests on just by clicking a link and opening up their browser. So that can be a lot easier and cause less friction. So depending on what your comfort level is with your technology and where you're at, just start somewhere. You don't have to start at the best of the best or look for the best of the best solution. And over time, you'll get more comfortable with the technology that you're using. And then you'll start realizing that you have certain other needs. So for example, myself, I prefer using things like Ecamm in order for me to be able to put different overlays on screen and move them anywhere that I want. And the production value has a little more, it's more of a creative sandbox for me, but it does make it more complicated. Whereas something like StreamYard like this, it can just help you template it a little bit easier and make it a little bit easier on everybody. So it depends on your comfort level, but just get used to going live, and test it in different formats, whether like Jennifer said, going live on Instagram or going live on Facebook, just naturally from your phone. Get used to that first and then start layering technology on top of that.
And that's great advice. And Brandon Berkmeyer also has some great advice as well. He said, get started with video is don't do video. Start with a podcast, get used to speaking, then add the camera, which actually, he said, I'm not biased. That's how he did it. So, but you can test it out like that too. But either way, you can even go live, test going live, and make your settings on Facebook so only you see the live. So you can actually press the button, be live, and see what it's like. There's many different options to do that.
Now, can I throw a thought in just about why live versus recorded video?
Yes.
All right. So I know we talk a lot about wanting to go live or the need to go live, but not a lot of people really understand the why. And when we talk about an algorithm and how the algorithm favors things, imagine if we had sort of a ranking on each post is worth so many points. So imagine like an image post is worth, 1 point. A video post is worth 5 points and a live video is worth 10 points. So you're kind of jumping the line. You're getting to the front of the line to get the front end distribution, and then it has a long tail of distribution as well. So the real magic on a live video is in the replays. So you'll have your live video, you'll get a little bang of activity, and that's why you want to go live for about 10 minutes, because you want time for the algorithm to pick this up and start distributing, start circulating, allow time for people to come on and watch, and then it kind of jump starts the algorithm. It puts you to the front of the line essentially, and then it gets heavy circulation after the video has ended. So there's lots of replay views that happen. You usually have way more replay views than you have on the live for most normal people. And then that just takes rank over uploaded recorded video, and that takes rank over a static image. So if you're trying to build in a strategy where if you're trying to put in a certain amount of effort and get the largest amount of impact, live video can really skyrocket that for you and help you advance. But no matter what, I don't care how long you've been on live video, all of us still get that little nervousness before we hit the go live button.
100%. I was gonna say the same thing. Like, we all get that little butterfly moment. We go live.
And just understand, guys, that technology won't work sometimes. Things will happen and you just keep going. That's what you have to do. People are very forgiving. And I love that tip, Amanda, about how long you should go live. If you don't have enough content to go live for, I like at least 10 minutes, then instead of going live, chunk that up into snackable different videos and do a little mini video series or something like that, because the whole point of live video is so people can join you. You want it to be a conversation and you want to recognize everyone. So if you don't have enough content to go live for at least 10 minutes, I like even more than that, 20, then do snackable type short videos for content. So yes, oh my God, I love this conversation, guys. This is amazing. Justin says live video keeps you humble. Yes, it does. And we have a question, and this is a great one from Rebecca. I'm talking about niches. A lot of people say, the riches are in the niches, but is that true? How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, personally, for me, and you can argue either side of it. I'm going to tell you from my personal experience, which is that I started my blog, Jen's Trends, in social media management. I made some friends. I went on, a couple podcast interviews, but there was no real direction. It was just social media in general. There wasn't anything to directly stand out. When instead I fell in love with this little app called Instagram 7 years ago, and I started blogging about it, and I was the only person blogging about it. And all of a sudden I was ranking as number 1 on Google, and I'm getting invited to all of these podcasts. I'm getting invited to speak on stages. I built my brand off of being an Instagram expert versus being a social media expert. It doesn't mean I don't know social media. It doesn't mean I can't do social media strategy or Facebook or anything else, but I became recognized for being in a very specific place that allowed me to become an expert. And there are plenty of people who will say, don't niche down, and that limits you. And there's absolutely, justification and reasoning for that. But I know for my business and where I'm at in my career, I would not be here had I not honed in on that one platform.
So I love that. And yes, I want someone, I think, Amanda, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, but there are layers to niching down, and I'm Canadian, so I say niche, and there are layers to niching down so for example, in my world, I have tons and tons of experience in real estate marketing. That's sort of where I learned the majority of my superpowers in real estate marketing. And so then what happens is a lot of realtors were referred to me, and more realtors and more realtors. And then before I know it, all my work is real estate. And at first I was kind of like Jen, where I was social media, digital marketing. And I knew I was really great at Facebook ads, and everyone kept telling me to niche down in Facebook ads, but I was resisting against it, saying, you know what, I don't want to just get pigeonholed into one platform. I have all this other knowledge. I do all of these other things. But over time, it did become a lot more clear to me that, okay, I need to niche down in Facebook ads. It is my superpower. It's what I do. It's what I eat, breathe, and sleep. But I didn't want to niche down in real estate marketing or real estate ads for realtors specifically. So I ended up backing off a little bit on that and expanding out making different choices on the different types of clients that I bring on, diversifying the experience that I had with all of the different clientele that I have worked with. And that has opened up my world. So it's like niching in one area, niching in the platform, but broadening my spectrum on the work that I do. So it's kind of multi-layered.
Yeah, and that's very true. Mike, Stephanie, do you want to chime in on this one?
I mean, honestly, just like everyone else on the team, I've been doing social media for like over a decade. And knowing all the different nuances of how social integrates with paid media, with traditional, with PR, all of that is very helpful to have as a part of your service. But when we talk about building your authority, then that's where I find it very interesting that I'm known as the live streaming person, right? It's like, and then when people find out like, oh, hey, like, you know how to run Google ads? Yes, I do. You know how to run Facebook? Yeah, I do. But I think having a niche is a great way to just kind of break the barrier a little bit, because then when people need something, they know like, oh, if I need something for Instagram, cool, I'm going to go to Jen. If I need blogging, I'm going to go over to Mike. Facebook ads, Amanda. And so I think when you niche down, then it's really helpful for people to stay top of mind of what it is that you do. And then when you have that conversation, then you start in to add the extra layers of like, oh, and PS, by the way, if you really want a 360 strategy, boom, I just did it. Then you add in all those layers, right? So
Almost broke your desk too, Stephanie. I swear. That was intense.
It's passionate.
I was like, we have to be 360 somewhere.
That was all built up, like energy. I mean, she's been waiting for that for 45 minutes just to do that.
Somebody said 360.
We're being so tame right now, by the way. We're trying to keep it together.
Yes.
I gave them all a very stern talking to and a warning before we went live.
This is true. So, Mike, would you like to add your 2 cents to that?
Yeah, I was just going to add that I love where Stephanie was going right there, and particularly to Rebecca's question. You'll note that when Stephanie was giving her example, she talked about blogging, she talked about Facebook ads, she talked about live streaming, she talked about Google ads. She didn't say small business owners. She didn't say lawyers. She wasn't talking about audiences. And I think that's a really important, subtle point not to be missed, that if you focus on an audience, it's going to be harder, I think, for you as a business owner, particularly in this market, which Rebecca, I know you're in. You're a social media marketer in the UK. If you can focus on a particular topic or niche or platform that people will understand and relate to and be able to recommend you and refer you, the same benefits will come from Google search, right? Google search isn't going to rank you for small business in the UK. That's just not going to happen. But if you can specialize in Google My Business and someone in your area is looking for a Google My Business expert, boom, now you're going to come up.
I love that. And that's great points. And Eugene and Brandon also have some great advice. Eugene says, I like the idea of being a unique cross-section. Whoa, diagram.
Sorry.
No, this is great because Jen just created Venn diagrams with her daughter and dinosaurs last week. And so for me, it's leadership, marketing, and spiritual personal growth. But I believe there is a huge benefit to being a polymath. I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly, because that brings unique perspectives to a different area. A few different ideas with this range by David Epstein and T-shaped specialists. Now, Brandon Berkmeyer says, think about what it is, your tool belt versus how you want to help people right now. Right now, I help people with personal branding, but my tool belt is podcasting and marketing strategy. Great perspective. I love that. Eric says people are searching for specifics, not generalities, which is very, very true. Niches are findable. They make you findable. And so Rebecca said, I'd like to niche into Instagram stories and reels as I really love using them and feel they benefit businesses. So Rebecca, let us in on that journey. We would love to help you in any way that we can. We think that's an awesome and great idea. And with that said, guys, we're 47 minutes into this. I think I'm going to throw the news out because when do we get the 360 marketing squad? Google it. Or join the Social Pulse community. Better yet, our Facebook group. Join Social Pulse community and you get fun, exciting content, and you can get help. You can ask Amanda, Jen Herman, and Stephanie Lou in there. You can make a post if you have a question and everyone in the group will answer. We have over 3,000 members, so it's awesome. Definitely join. So I do have a question for the analytics queen, Amanda Robinson. I would love to talk about chatbots. I don't know if we have enough time for that, but let's talk about measuring your success and what are the top tools and what you should be looking for when it comes to marketing and social media.
All right. So measuring your success, this comes up often and a lot with especially new clients or people who are just starting to get into the digital marketing space. They look at their peers and they look at everyone around them and say, okay, I need to measure myself up against what they're doing. So that's the first thing we're going to do is stop doing that. Stop measuring yourself up against your competition because the stakes that you're working with are completely different than what they have to work with. They may have different audiences. They may have been spending more money. They may have been doing this a lot longer. They may have a domain that's been in existence for 20 years and your domain is a year old. There's too many factors on that. And you can't measure yourself against anyone else. You have to set your own baseline And this goes for any measuring of marketing. Set your own baseline and beat those numbers. Keep improving upon those numbers. So I like to also mention that you need to set realistic expectations, but manage those expectations, and those expectations will change and grow over time. So I've talked with a lot of people that say, oh, we need conversions. We need leads or we need conversions. That's the only reason that we are doing our marketing. We want leads and conversions. Great. Well, leads and conversions is something that you can measure down the road once you've first started with other lower tier measurables first. So for example, starting to build that momentum with audiences, like I was talking about earlier. So maybe make your first set of measurables. Okay, how many people are we reaching? Are we continuing to grow our reach? Yes or no? Okay, once you've started to build momentum and grow your reach, great. Now let's start measuring how many people are actually engaging, liking, clicking, commenting, sharing, interacting with you. So then that's your next layer of measurable, and start growing that and growing it consistently so that you can see the trend continuing to carry on. And then once you've mastered that, then start growing the number of people that are taking and additional action, such as signing up for your newsletter or visiting your website or looking at a sales page, and start to grow those numbers. So it's a staged approach, and that can take several months. So it just coming right out of the gate and saying, okay, my digital marketing in month 1 needs to bring in X number of leads. Stop, slow down, make sure that you've got that stepped approach and that you're measuring everything in realistic terms and setting your goals on growing it slow, because that will bring in long-term results in the long run.
And I love that, growing it slow. A lot of people want fast results, right? They want to be a success overnight, but they don't realize that a lot of these really successful people, they work their butts off for like 5, 10, 20 years, even longer than that. You got to put in the work to get the results. And we're live on a lot of different pages right now, but I just want to say we've got some people from Nigeria joining us, Atleen from St. Martin, so many people, Emmy from Nigeria as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We're excited that you're here. If you have questions, please let us know. And I want to bring it back to you, Mike, and influencer marketing. So we understand now what influencer marketing is, but how would you go about finding the right influencers that make sense for your business?
Okay, good question. I'll see if I can keep it into 60 minutes or less in this answer. So I kind of touched on this a little bit before, because I would definitely start with social networks, regardless of whatever industry you are, because 9 times out of 10, what you want them to do once you have that connection and once you actually want to start doing some influencer marketing, it's probably going to be social media based to begin with. So watch for Twitter, watch for Instagram. Those are the easy ones. Depending on your industry and your geographic area, obviously there are other social networks. There's Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and so on that you might want to look into. The other thing you can do is do some Google searches in your industry. Who's out there writing about topics related to your industry? Maybe they're not big on Twitter, but maybe they've got a super popular blog. I know guys like that. So if that's the case, again, you can subscribe to their blog. You can reach out to them individually. And just like I was saying before, I just want to say it again. Go with the relationship. Start with the relationship. This is relationship building, which means this is going to take time. If you want to do real, true, authentic influencer marketing, you can't just throw some money at somebody and have them do something for you tomorrow and expect real results. It's not going to be authentic. And audiences today, we know that, right? We know when someone's not being authentic in what they're talking about. But if you go into a social media marketing Facebook group today and you ask today, hey, what social media marketing platform should I use for my business? You're going to get a flood of people who are talking about this company right here because of the relationships I've built over time. I mean, this has been going on for years, and I'm not asking anybody to do that. And most of the time I'm not even paying them to do that, but they pile on with those authentic, really interesting, really relatable responses. Hey, I use Agorapulse all the time for publishing. Hey, I love it for the reports. Like Jen would say, I get to push one button and it spits out a report from my clients. And I love it. I never paid her or asked her to say that right there, but she says that because that's the truth. It's what she does. So yeah, go into the major social networks and then start going into the communities like Facebook groups, like LinkedIn groups, like hashtags, right? Like tweet chats, those kinds of things. And look for the people that are saying things and other people are responding very positively and actively to what's being said. Those are influencers.
I love that. And that's I don't think you could have said it better or faster, Mike. You literally nailed it. And so for AgoraPulse, if you want more information, because Mike is our brand ambassador, he's incredible, he's amazing, talk to Mike. He knows what he's doing. Quick shout out to, we've got Kamlesh from India. Thank you so much for joining us. Brandon, I see your comment, but I'm not going to repeat it. I think you're awesome. Eric said you can microwave a Thanksgiving turkey, but that doesn't mean it's going to taste good. Very good analogy. I like that.
I'm stealing that, Eric. Wow.
I know, it's really good.
Taking this.
Yeah, so good. Anthony said, really solid advice, Amanda. I think a lot of people who want fast results don't have their messaging dialed in. So they really need to get that engagement piece right first, which is very smart, very true. Reger, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. This is so awesome. So now we're going to do a roundtable here. Let's start with you, Stephanie. What is your, last piece of advice you would give to someone in social media marketing, to end the year on a strong note in 2020 and begin 2021 just roaring, just being like, we got this.
Roaring.
Yeah. The roaring 20s, the roaring 20s,
Here we go.
the roaring 2021.
I would really say if you're not leveraging video right now, now is the best time to do it because you have so much grace. Everyone is getting used to unmuting their mics, using their webcams. This is now your time to practice because the bar has been set. It's like right here, right? Everyone's kind of like at the beginner stage at that point. And so if you just practice just a little bit, how to adjust your camera, add little things about lighting, your audio and all of that stuff, like even just a 1% difference will help you stand out. So start doing that. Start making some time.
I love that. Great advice. Jen Herman, let's go to you. Last piece of advice for anyone for the remainder of 2020. And I can't believe, guys, we're approaching Q4. I just feel like it's flown by. But, for those that are just kind of still maybe scrambling or just in kind of a funky mindset, because I know it can be day to day with everything that's going on, what is your best piece of advice?
So my best advice is kind of similar to what Stephanie just said, but is to focus on the quality of your content, not the quantity of your content. Especially right now, so many businesses were kind of thrown into we have to embrace social media. And we're seeing the trend of, AKA 2015, which is post more content. That's going to make everything better. And by saturating your audience with content for the sake of putting it out there is actually hurting you, not helping you. So rather than forcing content out there to check the box that you posted to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube, and every place else that day, don't. And instead scale back how much content you're creating and instead really look at what your audience wants. Go look at those insights, see what your top performing content is. Is it videos? Is it photos? Is it links? Is it when you share entertainment, education, behind the scenes? What is the content that is resonating most with your audience? Then create more of that and put the time and effort into creating one really good post instead of putting out 5 mediocre posts that are not going to perform and are not going to serve you or your audience in the long run.
That's beautiful. And Anthony said, less is more for sure. And also Brandon said he's buying the book right now. You guys can do too. Social Media Marketing, The Ultimate Guide. You can find it on Amazon while you're watching. Perfect thing to do. It's the perfect holiday gift too, right? Or for your team. If you want to get your team excited to dominate the rest of the year and really jump into 2021 successfully, get the book. Okay, so let's talk to you, Amanda. What is your advice to everyone for the rest of the year to be successful and for 2021?
My advice would be go back and play the last 5 minutes of this. Jen Herman, preach. Yes. If I had a dime for every single Facebook account that I go into that has content just on autopilot and posting, we post 2 posts a day at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Oh, it's like the algorithm. It's like burying yourself in an algorithm death. But anyway, that's not my advice. My advice, I'm going to go a little geeky here. Chatbots, of course. I know not everybody loves chatbots, but my advice here is quite sound. That when I first started with Facebook ads, they were very simple. It wasn't very hard. It was kind of fun to play around with and get into. And then Facebook just kind of like Frankenstein kept just bolting on new features on top top and making it more and more complex and more complicated. But because of the experience of growing with the platform, it was easier to navigate. Chatbots, we're starting to see the same thing. They're incredibly beneficial to your business. Go read the chatbot chapter in the book to get an overview on why, get jazzed up about exactly why you should be using them. But we're still at the ground level. It's very attainable. They're drag and drop. They're easy to build. They're user friendly, but people are just a little intimidated by it. Go play in that sandbox right now as a marketer. Get used to it and get used to the possibilities, because they're going to be here for a while. They're going to grow with us over time. But start now at the ground floor while it's still easy, because there are so many new features rolling out. There are so many rules rolling out. It's starting to grow and getting a little more complex. So get your hands dirty in chatbots now, and you're going to thank me in 5 years for it.
And I have to say, chatbots are really powerful. Amanda has helped us at Agora Pulse with chatbots and ads with chatbots. And it's actually a lot of fun and really cool. And you can personalize them to your brand, to who you personally are, and make them really amazing. So I held up there. It's chapter, I think 13. It's page 109. I'd have to look the exact chapter. Maybe chapter 13. You guys correct me on that. But yes, so definitely go to it. You guys don't know. Brandon said he just purchased it literally 7 seconds ago. All right. So Mike Alton, what is your advice for everyone, the universe, on how to just, live the best life and be successful no matter what you do?
My advice for the universe. So remember what I said earlier about wanting to work with people who are being authentic as influencers. And let me share something with you. I'm a writer. I really like to write. I'm not comfortable if I haven't been writing, for a week or two. This video is not my preferred medium. I don't like this. I'm not comfortable doing this. And all of that said, Stephanie's 100% correct. You need to be doing live video for your business. Every single week, you need to be going live. And if you're not comfortable going live yet, that is okay. Some of the advice already in the comments have been, go live with a small group, a Facebook group. You can do that. You can have a Facebook group with just your one friend. Hopefully you've got more than one friend, but you can have a Facebook group with just one friend, and you can go live in there, and they can give you feedback and collect a small group of friends. And maybe you're all going live and kind of learning that medium together. Have that little journey and give yourself feedback and create that safe space. Because I tell you, I'm not comfortable. I was super nervous today coming into this, and I've been doing this twice a week for a year now because we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary. So you can do it if I can do it, and you need to do it because this is such a great medium. And I posted a link earlier as Agora Pulse to the webinar that Stephanie's doing. I think it's next week, Stephanie, on how to repurpose this kind of a content, because there's so many ways, there's so many great, rich methods that you can use and tools that you can use to take this video and make it super powerful and evergreen and long-term value to your business. So take advantage of that.
I love that. And there's so many tools and tips and tricks in the book. There's literally like many pages where you can actually map out your strategy, which is so awesome. But I have to give a quick shout out to one of our viewers. There's an Eva Alton who is watching us and happened to join at the perfect time. Eva, I'm so glad you're here. By the way, I love you and everything you do. You're fantastic. Darlene says, great tips. Thank you. Kenzie said, as a new social entrepreneur, this was so helpful as I get started with getting my business out there in the smartest way possible. So Kenzie, thank you so much for that. And we've got Brandon who says, can't believe Mike didn't make a Star Wars reference when being asked about his advice for the universe. That's exactly what That's exactly what I was going for, Brandon. And he didn't bite on it, man. I threw it out there.
Oh, man.
Whatever it is.
This comment though, because that needs to happen.
But you see, it's because Mike chastised us to make sure that we are all tame. So he's got to lead by example.
True.
This is true. This is very true. All right, guys. So who's ready to actually, Brandon bought the book. Brandon, we love you, but you could win the book right now. Now, isn't that exciting? So we are giving away one of the books, The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. We're also giving away an Agora Pulse backpack. You guys, I don't even have one of those. We're giving away an Agora Pulse notebook. I also don't have one of those. And you guys, I'm the social media manager for the company. I'm not sure. I don't know how that happened. We're also giving away a mug, and we'll just say and a t-shirt too. We'll give it all away, guys. So we have some fun trivia. And so first of all, I want a thumbs up from everyone who is ready to win something. Thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up. Yes.
Are we eligible? Can we win?
Yeah, I'm like, can we?
People in the comments.
I want the Agorapulse backpack.
I really want that book. heard
I
it's
know.
pretty good.
I want that book too. All right, guys. So we're jumping into the trivia. Are you ready? Okay. So, and you actually, I don't know if the 360 Marketing Squad should answer because it might give it away. I'm going to try and not give it away. So, what year was EntrepreneurMedia.inc founded? Does anybody know, since we're, simulcasting on Entrepreneur, what year was it founded? Don't Google it, guys. Don't Google it.
Any of us know. Don't give it away, Amanda.
It's like, I don't know. You guys, is it A? And when you answer these, guys, I want 1-A-B-C-D, so we know which one you're answering, because there may be a three-way tie. We've got 3 questions. If there is, we'll be finding a different way to find the winner. So Anthony, yes. God, I love you, Anthony. You're amazing. We've got D. Who else? Who else got it? Bishop's got D. We've got people on the Entrepreneur page as well. You guys, there's so much going on. All right, so no idea. 1963. I love the honesty, Brandon. You're fantastic. 1C, 1B. Look at you guys. Keep going. Keep answering. I love this. We got all the answers, all the things. All right, so let's go to question number 2, guys.
Real quick, for those of you watching on the Entrepreneur page and a couple other pages that we're cross-posting to, I can't bring your comments into the stream, but we will be watching those comments and we will check them out. So feel free to post your answers in there. You're all eligible.
Yes, we've got Jeannie. It says 2019. Agnes D, Crystal D. People, are you guys Googling this? That was really easy. So anyway, let's go to question number 2. According to Omnicore's study, what percentage of B2B leads came from LinkedIn? All right. According to Omnicore's study, they came out with a really great study about LinkedIn. What percentage of B2B leads came from LinkedIn? Was it A, 35%, B, 45, C, 60, D, 80? You guys remember, when you answer, I want 2-A or 2-B, C, or D. Keep the 2 in front so I know what question you're answering. Otherwise, it gets a little tricky. You guys are all doing great. People are still, I gave the first answer away. Now we got like a whole bunch of D's streaming in. Good job, guys. I'm not saying
For those of you who are new to the show, if you wait until the very last minute to answer the trivia question, Jennifer will probably give it away. The tone of her voice.
I know. You can read me like a book right now. So I'm glad that I'm not on screen. We've got 35%. We've got C, a lot of C's. This study is brought to you by LinkedIn. This is true, Brandon. Brandon, did you answer and respond already? Okay, we've got 2D from Agnes. A lot of D's here for number 2 as well. You guys are all doing good. Okay, so we're going to go to question number 3. According to Omnicore's article, again, how many videos and articles are published on LinkedIn every day? So you got to think about this for a minute. There are hundreds of millions of users, pages, whatever, accounts on LinkedIn, but not everyone always posts, which actually surprises me a little bit. So looking at that, according to their article, how many videos and articles are published on LinkedIn every day? Is it A, 2 million, B, 4 million, B, or C, 6 million, or D, 8 million? So you guys answer this 3-A-B-C. Make sure you have a 3 in there, you guys, so I know who's answering. You guys are all doing good. We've got Jeannie, who said 2B. She's on the Entrepreneur Facebook page. Kenzie says B. We've got a lot of people here. You guys are awesome and so fun. This is fantastic. So you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to need some time to actually look at all the pages that we streamed on and see everyone's answers. So I will not be able to tell who the winner is right now, but keep answering. And I will look at all of those pages and we will get back to you after the weekend, because we actually have an extended weekend in the United States. But yes, I will message the winner. And yeah, this will be awesome. So I just want to say a big thank you to, first of all, our show sponsor, Eric Buteau. You are amazing. You're awesome. He is also one of the co-authors of the book, guys. 5 authors. This is amazing. You get all of their brilliant minds in one book. It's epic. If you knew nothing or know nothing about social media or marketing, once you read this book, you're going to know everything. Actually, you're going to be an expert. You could start your own business perhaps. So definitely do that, right? We're all entrepreneurs. Make it happen. So with that said, I have to just give a big shout out though to Mike Alton, who is my boss and also producing the show as being a guest on the show. So You're wonderful. You're incredible. Amanda Robinson, you're a rock star. Jen Herman, I mean, I want to say badass, but I don't know if I can.
I don't think what you do to say.
I know. She's a badass. And Stephanie Liu, who is also absolutely amazing for joining us because they're very busy. They have amazing businesses. They don't have to be here, but they want to share their knowledge with you because they really want to support you and they care about you and want you to be successful, as well as us at Agora Pulse. And so if you have any questions at all about any of this, you can join our Facebook group, Social Pulse Community, and ask your questions about anything you have. We'll definitely support you. Just go to facebook.com/groups/Social Pulse Community. But with that said, I want to do a quick round robin. Where can everyone find you, follow you, hire you, all that good stuff? Mike, go first.
You can't hire me. I work for Agora Pulse. Sorry.
This is true. But Amanda.
All right. You can find me everywhere at The Digital Gal. Facebook is the best place to find me at The Digital Gal. And my 4-week Facebook Ads Bootcamp kicks off next week if you want to learn Facebook ads.
Fantastic. Awesome. Jen Herman.
I'm pretty much everywhere online as Jen's Trends, Instagram and Twitter, JENNS_trends. It's always Jen with 2 N's. YouTube, website, Facebook group. Just search Jen's Trends on any major platform and you will find me.
Awesome. Stephanie Liu, what about you?
For more live streaming tips, head on over to lightscameralive.com. That's where you'll find all of the live videos, the replays, as well as the guides. Now, as far as like the geeky stuff, the place where all the cool people hang out, then that would be the social media strategist group, because that's where I'm always trying to break things and I'm always looking for beta testers.
Yay. Awesome. And Mike, where can people just find you on your personal pages? Because you have a lot of good content too. I want you to answer the question.
Fine, I'll answer it. Blogging Brute. I'm Blogging Brute everywhere. Instagram, there's Twitter, there's a Facebook page, there's a website, bloggingbrute.com. If you really want to geek out with me about content, that's where you should go.
Awesome. And if you guys want to geek out about live video, social media, the weather, perhaps, you guys can geek out with me too anytime. Just mainly go to my Instagram at Jennifer Weather. It's just Jennifer Weather. That's it. Or Twitter at JWatson_WX. But if you're looking for a social media management tool, Agora Pulse should be your #1 choice. And you can test us out for 28 days free. It's amazing. Everyone in the 360 Marketing Squad uses it, and we think you should too. But along with that, we think you should use Agora Pulse while reading the book. We think the combination of the two definitely works together just magically. But don't forget to order their book now, Amazon Prime. Get it in 2 days or 1 day like I did in Atlanta. Which was amazing, actually. The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. Find that on Amazon. And I just want to say a big thank you for those of you for watching us and for joining us. We love you guys. Thank you for all the support and happy 1 year. We're so excited that everyone was able to celebrate with us. And for the 360 Marketing Squad, for me and Agora Pulse Entrepreneur, everyone else, we hope you have an incredible and amazing weekend. Make it amazing. And we hope you have an amazing rest of the year too. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Bye.
Happy anniversary.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.